Well, it's a very, very special time for me. But I come from Atlanta, Georgia, the city of dreams. Martin Luther King, coming out of Atlanta, Georgia, had the dream that all people of all colors and all race could live together under one rule of law. And we did that. The fascinating thing about dreamers is they eschew logic. They don't look at the insurmountable odds. They go to the heart. And they ask themselves, what is right? What is best for the greater good of all? Dreamers make the world a better place. And I vividly remember the dreamers, Sandy Dallenberg, Homer Moyer, and Mark Ellis, coming to the ABA with the ridiculous proposition that the rule of law could replace the Cold War. The Berlin Wall had fallen, and they came with the notion that lawyers should go into Central and Eastern Europe and build rule of law. The skepticism in the ABA was quite high. National security, the Cold War was still with us, uncharted waters. And yet what's so fascinating is that that dream captured so many people. And all of a sudden, there was a movement. Sandra Day O'Connor epitomizes that movement. All of you all in this room epitomize that movement. And so, Seeley was born. And look what has happened over the last decades, starting from scratch. Many lives have been saved or vastly improved by implementation of the dream that the rule of law could go global. Congratulations to where we've been. Congratulations to the staff. Congratulations to all of those volunteers that go abroad at their own sacrifice. Congratulations to the ABA leaders. And congratulations to all of you in this room who have been a part of that movement. And it's been a very special moment for me to be part of that movement, to pursue that cause, and to be with so many wonderful people. So this recognition means a great deal to me and to my family. But may I have a parting thought? You see, there's still work to be done. And what's so critical right now, the dynamics have shifted, is that our dreamers now need to bring thought leadership that inspires generations around the planet to view critical issues from a global perspective rather than from a national perspective. Threats to peace no longer come from Cold War nations. The threats, whether cast as terrorism, failed states, civil unrest, come from the failure to provide jobs, hope, dignity for the many who live outside the rule of law and know of no protections. And the explosion of our middle class to 5 billion people in this world and the scarcity of energy and the scarcity of water are going to exacerbate that problem. No individual nation can solve that problem. The search for solutions will have to be global and they'll have to be bold. But we can't ignore them. In 20 years, it is estimated that the GDP of the United States will be 1/2 of the GDP of China. And today, the growing cyber capacities of other countries and non-state actors could soon neutralize the United States military superiority in the world. So the United States cannot lead as it has in the past. It'll just be one part of a global village. And the key is, can we all work together? Because global trade and global security alliances could create great prosperity for those who live in poverty. And it could eliminate much of the cost from terrorism that goes into its prevention, TSA and all the rest of it. But the determining factor on whether we as a global group go up or down together will be this global cooperation and collaboration. And here is where lawyers and others who care about rule of law are the natural leaders to help make the difference. It is critical that our U.S. Main Street lawyers and lawyers around the world understand that prosperity and security for our societies is dependent on all of us working together in creating global rule of law. The legal profession has enormous clout throughout the world. Let us ask ourselves the same question that the Seeley founders asked about making could they take the rule of law to the developing countries in Central and Eastern Europe? And our question is, can lawyers now further the rule of law globally to assure a better world? Now, the exploiters of greed, fear, ignorance, and power are the obvious barriers to rule of law. But a deeper look, and the tough look we all need to take is, I believe the real problem is inaction by those who could stand up and provide rule of law as a viable alternative for those trapped in poverty and outside the rule of law. Complacency in our nation and in much of the world constitutes the real problem. Apathy and inward thinking by the more fortunate is the barrier we all have to overcome. But it is essential, and we can. We must facilitate the legal community organizing itself into a powerful voice for making rule of law better in our own countries and a way of life for the enormous number of people in the developing world that are now outside the rule of law. And perhaps today, many of us can begin to make that personal commitment that we will take up this call and reach out in creative and pioneering ways, just as the Sealy founders did, to start finding solutions to this global problem. That is my hope for all of us, and thank you very much for this honor.
Let me take this with me. I think I have my remarks here.
Yeah. Thank you,
Well,
Stephen.
you understand how fortunate we have been to have had a person like Bill Ide give us that clarion call. You know, it's often said that all that's necessary for evil to triumph is for good persons to do nothing. You've made sure that didn't happen.